You have, I think, quite an interesting career journey. This is a pod about kind of collating career journeys within Experiential, and I
Sure.
really think that yours is one I'd like to highlight. If you could bring us forward, where did it start for you?
Yeah. Back in college, I was a part of a bunch of shows and cultural shows that were put on by my college. I went to UC Berkeley here in California. And then I just got really swept up in the production of things uh, right from doing college and stuff like that. And so that translated into producing for a nonprofit here in San Francisco. And then that pivoted really quickly to I was a big fan of kind of John and Hank Green. Hank Green is an influencer. He would hate that I would call him an influencer, but they started the company Complexly, and an offshoot of that company was VidCon. And VidCon at the time, this was 2016, was really at the forefront of that creator economy. They didn't have it. They didn't call it a creator economy at that point, but it was really like all these YouTubers coming together and doing a convention and then sharing what their knowledge was and yeah, like I applied to that job coming from there, being a lowly like content manager. And then just slowly built up that event and really like propelling it forward as the best creator event in the world. Really, we went international, and then we were later bought by Viacom, which was really interesting to see like this big company see that value and buy that company there. So
How did it
yeah.
feel stepping from what might be termed like a startup environment, something scrappy, into a bigger machine where things were very well processed already? How did that feel?
Totally. So it was very much so like the way VidCon was produced. It was 70,000 attendees over 3 days, and we were a tiny team of like 20 people, and so it was very much a Corvette. Like if we wanted to turn, we turned. We pivoted. We wanted to pivot, and then as we were acquired by Viacom, the bureaucracy of like having to do a tiny copy edit in the program guide or signing someone on was something that it wasn't hard for me to adjust to because I'd already like worked in like a corporate environment. But like it was tough for some of my colleagues to be like, oh, I used to be able to do this so fast and like without any red tape, but now I'm here and I've got to change that up and change the processes. So there's a give and take. Like we definitely got some heft behind us and legitimacy behind us because like now we're a Viacom corporation. But also people were like, oh, they're gonna sell out. They're still gonna be, they're only gonna put on Viacom properties. And to Viacom's credit, like they let us still curate the programming and curate the event that in its true to itself. But like, yeah, that was tough for some folks, for sure. Changing that.
Tell me about the types of programs you walked into. What were you thrown into in your early years at Viacom?
Oh, so we because we were primarily operating as VidCon, and then like we went VidCon International. Uh, there were instances where we had a big creative team now at our beck and call. But then understanding what a creative brief actually means and like having to like fill that out so that you have the scale of being able to produce a show that many people have hands on and how to align all those folks, I think was one of the main learning points for me now is where it's like you're going to have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and to be able to align those to make something really delicious is tantamount to like creating a really great event. And then yeah, I did after Viacom, I did a brief stint at Twitter, kind of building their systems up um, uh, to scale. They were doing internal events across the world in various offices, and so the logistics and kind of the production of all of those in different places was where I got my introduction into like tech at Twitter, and then Viacom expanded even more, and then asked me to come back and be the executive producer of like their big show in Abu Dhabi. It was going to be like their first like creator show in Abu Dhabi. And so yes, I was like, oh well, I mean, this is such a great opportunity, and I was like, sorry Twitter, but this is like I can't pass this up. And we went, and then COVID happened, and, and then all events were shut down, and everything was, it's an interesting time for anybody experiential, right? Like that became really a blip in time where like nothing was happening. People were staying at home and stuff like that. I was. That was when my daughter was actually born too. So I was, I used to tell my friends, I know how to produce an event. I don't know how to raise a girl or raise any kid. But it was great. It was close to a year of, just being a dad. And then my wife was working remote, and so she was able to, work remote and take care of us. But yeah, I was like, I held my daughter every day for like 365 days, which is like amazing. Which is an events person, like, to take that kind of pause where like I was, whenever they put job descriptions, I was like 40% travel, right? And so to take a pause that way was really, really exciting. And then, then my wife told me we were pregnant with our second child. I was like, maybe I should find a job now because these bills are going to stack up. And that's when I found Discord. And like Discord was, at that space where during COVID, they tripled the amount of folks that were on the platform.
Right. That's a very interesting dynamic because you're going from an industry that was being put on standby, disappeared, right, for want of a better
Absolutely.
word, and then you're switching gears and you're joining an industry that has managed to flourish. It's a very interesting space you occupied.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were doing a lot of what we found, what Discord found was like a lot of communities that were, coming together on Discord were producing these remote events within the platform was kind of like built for that, where like you have communities surrounding various games and like they'll hold events there and they'll have like a big voice channel where they're all communicating with each other. And so there was a true function of like the digital side of producing an event. And with VidCon having had like a lot of broadcasts, and the same thing with Twitter, where we were broadcasting from one office to like many offices, there was a lot of natural throughput there when I joined Discord, and so took over the digital kind of like event space. And as we came out of COVID, then we were primarily doing in-person like gaming events, but there was a time where Discord was really pushing the community platform is like non-gaming, like, and that's the first time we activated it at VidCon, like having a presence at VidCon and like Lollapalooza and like the MTV Movie Awards, and so we ventured out of that.
And so was it almost like the community was showing Discord how Discord could be used in a way that hadn't been previously conceived?
Yeah, but that it was very much that way, and like we built tools, like we built stage channels because that was like something that the community we saw them actively using, and then it was really interesting though is that like they showed them how it could be used, and then there was a big drop off from digital events as people returned to IRL, right? And so. Some of those tools that were built for that 2020, 2022 period, we still use to this day, but the way that Discord is being used now has evolved a little bit more. Like right now, we're really focused all in on gaming, and like that's what we want to do, and it's kind of like where we started and now where we're going with again, because we've seen the gaming industry just like blow up and like really, really, really grow exponentially. And so we wanted to make sure that we were catering to that audience, because then we found that like catering to that audience really rippled out to like anybody that's trying to do community management. Everyone is trying to like get your friends together to go play a game or just like have fun together. And so yes, that's how we've gotten there. So it's crazy. It's been a wild ride, wild ride.
So talk me through some of the experience. Talk me through the calendar typical calendar year as it looks like now? What are you involved in? What do you go to?
Yeah. So Discord's ads product is a new product. Um, uh, we've really been doing it now, like close to 2 years now, and really building that function up for the platform and doing it in a really intentional way. Like we were the platform, like we didn't do ads. We don't do ads. We do our subscription. That's how we made money. But like I think the leadership here has done a really good job of making ads that is additive to the experience of Discord, and also it's opt-in. And we are seeing that like people want to get our ads. They call them orb farmers because like orbs are that's like the currency here on the Discord platform, where you can buy like avatar decorations and stuff like that. So really what we've evolved from is kind of like this B2C experiential, where we are activating at like PAX East, we were activating at Tokyo Game Show. But like Discord has become pretty ubiquitous with gaming, that it's not where we need to like really focus in terms of where we're showing up and our boots on the ground. So the last 2 years really has been a shift to B2B events and showing where now that we're talking to like advertisers and we're talking to media buyers, showing that Discord is a legitimate place where you can reach an audience and you can reach the community that you're trying to talk to. So our typical things, we still have a very, very, very close relationship to developers, like game developers and stuff like that. So our tentpole event is Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, GDC. They just rebranded to Festival of Gaming. And so that's usually our big tentpole. It's at the beginning of the year. It's in March. It's where we spend the most money. It's where we have a lot of investment because we meet a lot of companies there, and they travel to San Francisco. And San Francisco, where we're based, has a lot of gravity for that gaming community, that developer community during that time. So we do invest a lot in there. And then we do a lot of roadshows where like we're at CES, where we're getting meeting rooms, and we're styling the meeting rooms, and we're making sure that like our sales folks can be boots on the ground and have a base of operations so they can talk and connect with the folks that they can connect to. And then there are interesting gaming places that we want to activate at as well. The Game Awards is a big one, right? It's a huge live stream, and usually there's a big party, and there's a lot of folks. Jeff Keighley's the organizer of that, and he invites a lot of folks to Los Angeles in the Dolby Theater to produce, to premiere a lot of game trailers and just like be on top of what's happening in gaming. And then we do road shows at places like Tokyo Game Show, which is like another B2C conference, but we just activate like meeting rooms in there. China Joy is going to be a new place that we go to this year, where we're actually building a booth on the show floor. That's in Shanghai. And then we have a pretty robust presence at Cannes. Like if you're going to be in this space, Cannes Line is going to be one of the spaces that you need to activate in. Last year we had Anderson .Paak come to our space and perform for like those partners and stuff like that, and that was really fun. And this year we're activating on the Croisette inside 3CV space. We're having a space inside there and building out experiential meeting rooms for that.
It was Anderson .Paak that caught my eye. I thought that was an awesome collab, and just to think about that, going from GDC with its very much B2C audience and taking it all the way to the B2B space at Cannes means that you're sitting over a very broad portfolio of execution.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we have a small but mighty team, but like we're the sensibility for each show changes, right? Like you're talking to developers in one space, and you're making sure that you're resonating with that community, and then you're talking to folks who may not be well versed at Discord and what Discord does, and like having to be a part of the education of like why people come to this platform and what they get out of it and how they're able to connect with so many people is definitely kind of like the push and pull that we experience, like of trying to do two things. It's like it's hard to do a complete like events in a box roadmap that like we're able to plug in, because sometimes our audiences are completely different, and like the advertisers at Cannes Lion are completely different than the advertisers that we meet at like.
And so it follows that your success criteria, how your team pats themselves on the back and know they've done a good job, it varies wildly.
It varies. It varies wildly. We still understand that like the touch points that we have at each one of these spaces, we kind of track those. It's like, oh, we spoke with Paramount at this event, and we spoke with them across the various events that they're at, like at Cannes Lion, or if it's at like a variety event, or if they come and see us at one of our kind of like pop-up activations. Tracking that is like, all right, then that actually leads to a deal that like, becomes them showing SpongeBob SquarePants on our Discord platform, is some of the things that we really track and are important for us.
Tell me about your travel now, as you are a father of two.
I am a father of two, yes.
Father of two, and you are required to be at Shanghai, at Cannes, and Tokyo. How is your travel?
Well, and it's also interesting. My wife is an events manager as well, so but a completely different industry. So she's like in the HR space, and I'm in the tech gaming space. So we've never, like, cross our fingers, knock on wood, we've never had like two events at the same time where we were like both out. So yeah, it's my travel these days. Up until a year ago, I was a team of one, and my travel was crazy. I was like, I think at one point in a 30-day span, I was out 20 days. But this time around, like, I have a great team. I have kind of three folks under me that are able to go do and travel things. And like, a lot of this is setting them up with the systems to thrive and be able to lead these events on their own, and not necessarily have me boots on the ground all the time. I still travel to like the big ones, like Cannes. I was at Cannes, and then like GDC is a really unique event because it's here in my backyard. So it's like the first time ever that I've had to I'd be able to go home and sleep in my own bed after an event, which is really, really rare. It's magic. It's magic. But like. Yeah, traveling out, and I love to travel. Like we're going to Tokyo Game Show and going to probably G-Star in Korea. I try to, because especially if I'm not leading the event, I can be there as a support function and making sure that like if there's any fires, I can like unblock my team members. But like, yeah, it's interesting now. I saw this in like coming up, and like the folks at Twitter, folks at VidCon, like when you get kind of like higher up, you get to pick and choose where you travel to, is like where you're really needed, but you really got to trust your team because you have your event leads and they're going to go and execute the vision, and we're all aligned and making sure that that's a part of that. So I get to hang back. I don't have to go to Cologne, Germany. That's one of the ones that I get to take off my calendar. That was I don't know if you've ever been to the Colmess in Cologne. It's a massive show. And like for me, the Germans, they want to open the show floor at like 7 a.m. and then close the show floor at like 6:30 p.m. So as a producer, you're there at like 5:30 in the morning to get your booth set up, and you're just going straight through. So props to Cologne for being a beautiful city, but like yeah, it's a brutal show, and like a lot of people come through that show.
Beautiful city, but they need to relax. They just
you need to relax. You need to relax just a little bit. Yes.
Tell me something. I'm going to guess that you are somebody who takes a lot of satisfaction. You get a lot of joy from the work that you do. Tell us a little bit about that. What gives you? Let me give you a dual question. What fills you up, and what can take the wind from your sales?
Oh, that's so great. I remember when I was coming up, I was really into the show Hamilton, and I was watching a documentary one time, and one of the leads of Hamilton, as they were gathered before the show opened, reminded the cast that even though they had done the show at that point hundreds and hundreds of times, there are people in the audience who this will be the only show they see, maybe for years, for their life. This is the only show they'll see, and it'll be really, really special to them. And so at VidCon especially, some of those tickets are really, really expensive. And so like putting on a show at VidCon to like thousands and thousands of people, and it was, when I was doing it, it was like the first time we really like created a programming that was like attractive and had these big names in it. I kept that in mind. I was like, these folks may never, and I would tell that to my team, these folks may never buy another convention ticket. They may never have this experience again. So it's on us to make sure we're delivering as an entertaining and fulfilling experience as we can to those folks, because this might be the only one they have. We want that's a responsibility that we have. So I always love the minutes before the doors open, and it's kind of like you get a quiet before the storm. And then I'm really lucky that, like, having worked for these companies that are actually pretty popular, like we had people like running to the Discord booth or running to our activation spaces at Twitter, just like be a part of that. And we have real like folks who are diehard fans of this platform because it creates such a connection for folks. So I always want to deliver for them and making sure that they have an amazing time, and they are taken care of whenever they're entering our space. So that's how I feel, and that brings me a lot of joy to make sure that like those folks are having fun. I have a lot of joy in mentoring and like really leading teams and seeing my folks really grow and like become their own, have agency and become really, really stellar events people. Because again, like we're just making everyone's lives like a little bit more brighter when they enter our space. And it's like, if that can be what I impart to those folks, that brings me a lot of joy too. What takes the wind out of my sails? Spelling mistakes, like in our websites, like sometimes those get out, or like a little logistical thing. That's a really specific thing right now.
There, yeah.
But like, I think that, gosh, I hold a lot of joy, and when I try, it's one thing that I'm like, gotta work with my therapist on. If like someone's not having a great time, not being so hard on myself to not make sure that like those folks, it's not my responsibility for how they're feeling. I can do all that I can and provide them with like a good experience, but sometimes they can just not feel great.
Well, that's difficult.
So, yeah.
That is a difficult balance. I understand the tension there, but you know, to bring it back to when you're describing the B2C space and you're talking about some of these tickets are expensive, these individuals are putting their own money. They're genuine fans. You have a sort of an emotional responsibility to
Totally.
to treat it as such, treat it as special as they feel it is, and how to, and with that mindset, you're naturally going to want them to be in it and engaged and enthused. And if they're not feeling that way, you feel that you're not living up to your side of the bargain. So that's very understandable. I think it's a very interesting idea to take that B2C mindset and say, we need to do right by these guys. They put their own money into it. They will put they're super fans, and try to bring that discipline over to the B2B space and bring it to
100.
Cannes, inject the same love and energy into it.
Yeah, it's right then. It's like what happens in that shift for me is, instead of the attendees, like I'm really hyper focused on our Discord internal staff, like our account managers, our account leads. Like, have they been provided all that we could provide to them to be able to make the connections that they need to, progress the relationship with whoever they're meeting with, like the partners that they're meeting with and stuff like that. And like, one of the things that we always like theme our meeting rooms are always a part of like the experiential experience. And we pride ourselves in differentiating ourselves when it comes to like our meeting rooms. For Cannes, live sneak preview, we have this like muralist who's going to come in and do a beautiful mural on the back of our space and have that and like really theme it. And so there have been instances where an account manager would be like, they loved our meeting space and it was just inviting and warm, and we were able to, take care of these folks who were again in our sphere for that moment of time, and like, yeah, they directly cited like, signing deals because of that, and like, and how that has directly led to funnel. So yeah, we take a lot of pride in it, and that's how I kind of shift between
That's a
B2C and
huge
B2B.
win. That's a great feeling. Take me
So
forward to EMS. You're
yeah.
involved in 2 sessions. Yeah, give us a rundown of both.
Three sessions.
Really?
Shannon emailed me. There's going to be
Hot off the
that the
press.
session, yeah, off the press, yeah. The session where I think like agencies will pitch like if there's a next big idea. I'm going to be on the panel of that.
Shark Tank.
So yeah, Shark Tank, yeah, the Shark Tank of EMS, exactly that. So I really believe like in my LinkedIn, it's servant leader, and I really want to serve the folks who are there. And like particularly, the community meetup where it's like folks who are just starting in the industry, and connecting those folks. I want to really be a connector of those folks. Working on maybe like creating a Discord server that they can all meet and they can all, in community with. And then like really like understanding and getting a sense from that room that we are not alone in the struggles. Like an events person is a very specific person. If you're not built for it, you get kind of like weeded out really, really quickly. And so the struggles that we're all having, I think, is something that like we can all learn from. And I want to really like connect the folks. Like I saw the session last year, and like there are a lot of people who come together, and they want to connect with folks that are starting out here or really like in the beginning of their journey. And so I just want to do that. I want to connect with them, and I want to make sure that like we're all kind of like talking about what's going on. And there are fears, right? There are AI fears that we can think through, and then like also sharing in the joys of like your question of like what brings you joy in this job. Finding that with other people is going to be is kind of like my goal there.
I think it's arguably the most important session at it. I'll be honest with you. I really think that to show people who are new to their career that they're not just walking into the job, that they're walking into a community of like-minded people, and that you're actually, your profession is about bringing people together as a community, and you are a
Totally.
small subset within that.
Yeah.
I think it's powerful, and I think it's important, and I think, it's a little bit about what we do on our pod as well, is getting people on to, tell their career stories, but it's with a view of providing guidance to people just stepping into the industry. It's at a very it's at a time of high acceleration, high change, right? And
Yeah.
it can be very confusing. And I'm sure that's going to be part of what comes up. You mentioned AI, fears.
Yeah, and then like there's this sustainability and like how that is factoring into all of our events. Like because more and more, I mean, like there's an upswing here definitely of like folks who are like looking to do more events and be a part of more events, and like how that impacts like the world and the environment and stuff like is also a thing that I see. And like what's great, one of the great things about being an events person is that it's like you get to have a team sport. And that like that team, you're on site together, and like you're tired, but that person across from you is also been in the same boat, and like you are experiencing this shared trauma, but not trauma, but like shared like event where you are working to deliver the best experience possible alongside somebody. And I think like that's always a thing that I love about
I think
events.
you're right. I think that high pressure, obviously the tight cyclical nature of experiential, the physical load in, the high pressure, and then release. And is a moment where everyone, turns around and can high five each other. I think that even when you move on to the next role and the next role, you still can rely on those ties, those kind of
Yes.
bonded moments in a way
Yes.
that I just don't think is true of other careers.
It's not like I still regularly connect with like all the folks at the beginning of my career that like we when we were a scrappy team and you're like in those long hours together, that like those are still folks that I treasure dearly as friendships and connections. So yeah, that's a great part about this industry.
Well, I think you're the perfect host for that community session.
Thank you. I
I really
appreciate it.
do.
I'm gonna see you there, right? I'm gonna see you, right?
You're going to see me there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Do whatever I can for you.
Amazing,
Rodney,
amazing.
it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much for talking through. Loved every second of it.
I am honored to be here. Thank you so much for asking me. I really appreciate it. Anytime you need me, I'm here to serve.